All right, in this exercise, we're going to learn about adjustment layers. So the post is here. Please read over the basic information on what's going to be taking place. There will be a video down below that you'll follow along, and this file will be the one that you're going to need to work with. So if you would, click on the file, open it up, go to the three dots, open a new window. When you open it in a new window, you should see this download arrow. If you don't see it here, it might be hidden under the three dots, but click here and download the file. When it downloads, then we're going to go over and open up under All Apps, the Photoshop program. Once the program opens up, then we will go ahead and we will open up this file by going to File, Open, go to your downloads, find the adjustment layers.jpg file, and open it up. We're going to be taking a look at the Layers panel, which I'll drag over here, and also the Properties panel, which I'll drag off and put right here. If you don't see these particular panels, you can access them by going and clicking on the word Layers to open up Layers, and clicking on Properties to open up Properties. We're going to take a look at adding adjustment layers. You can do that by going here in the Layers panel at the bottom where there is a circle that's half filled in. Click here and you can access all of these different adjustment layers. You can also go to the word Layer, New Adjustment Layer, and access those same things right here. Either one works. We're going to take a look at a few of these, but any of these could be used by you on projects that you might be working with throughout the semester. Let's start by looking at brightness and contrast. So we'll go here, click on this. We can leave it that name, press OK. I'll make my layer panel a little bigger, and you can see that I have added this adjustment layer. I haven't added an effect to the brightness or the contrast yet. That is done inside of the Properties panel. So if I wanted to, I could adjust the brightness of the image, decrease it, or increase the image brightness. Same thing for contrast, decrease it or increase. We're going to just start by pressing Auto and seeing what the Auto gives us. So the Auto went to 5 for brightness and 25 for contrast. Here you can see a before and after, slight little change in the overall brightness and more contrast being added to the picture. We'll leave this and we'll take a look at another adjustment layer. This one, let's go down to Vibrance. Click on Vibrance. It's added above the brightness and contrast adjustment that we just looked at. And again, let's take a look at adjusting the vibrance in this image and really punching it up to about plus 50. We can see the before and the after of that effect in our image. The next thing we'll do is we'll take a look at trying to increase some more color in the sky. Let's go and add under Levels, there's something called Curves. We'll click here and we'll take this middle area and drag this downward, only focusing really on the sky and a little bit of the trees as the main thing we're looking at. This part of the image has become very dark, but this image up here in the sky looks much better. Now we'll fill the whole entire adjustment layer with black. Control I on the keyboard will fill the adjustment layer with all black. We'll grab a paintbrush. We'll select white as our color. We'll increase the size of the paintbrush to about 450 pixels, and we'll leave the hardness set to 0. Then we'll go ahead and we'll start painting in the sky. Our opacity is at 15%. We'll make sure our opacity is at 100%, And we'll go over and we'll start painting in the sky. We'll add a little bit more detail to the trees. But that's about it. We don't want to add any of the darkening effect down below. If we do make a mistake and we go too far, we can switch and get black as our color and take out any part that is not needed. Take out a little bit of the area of the tree as well. Switch back over. I'm going to lower the opacity, and we'll just touch up that with the lower opacity so it's not as strong as before. Do that some to the bottom trees. And now we can see the before and the after. More detail happening up in the sky. So a mask can be incorporated in your adjustment layers as well, allowing only part of it to be revealed in a spot that you choose. It doesn't have to be everywhere. So we'll enable the mask, and again, we've added it only in the trees. The final thing that we'll take a look at, one last adjustment layer, is going to be hue and saturation. We'll go here. We're going to go ahead and decide, let's change the hue or the color of the image. We're going to make it -25. In the mask, we'll go ahead, Control I to fill the whole entire thing. We're going to zoom in, and let's change the color of her pants from this orange color to this redder tone that we have underneath with our adjustment layer. Enable that. We'll make our brush a little bit smaller, about 150, and we'll turn the hardness to about 30. And we'll go in here and we'll paint in the pants to make them red. I'm going to increase my opacity a little bit, closer to 75%. And we're just going to go in here and paint in to change the color of an area that I choose. Just the pants in this particular case. I don't want it to go everywhere, but we're just changing this area. So we'll do our best to go in here, show you how we can selectively change a color with an adjustment layer. And again, put it to just the area that we choose. Slide the picture over a little bit. Do the rest. And the great thing about adjustment layers is I could decide later that maybe I didn't want to have red pants on this particular photo. Make our brush a little smaller. Get into some of the smaller areas here, like such. But maybe you want to change them to be a completely different color down the road. The nice thing about that is we have that flexibility. This is not a permanent change that we're doing, but we're deciding to go ahead and do this as an adjustment layer. So the original is still there. And if I decide later that I really don't want those pants to be red, I could change them to purple. And just like that, you have the power to be able to modify and manipulate images with the use of adjustment layers, and then being able to control the adjustments inside of the properties. These particular steps, brightness and contrast, vibrance, curves, and hue and saturation, follow along like this example is showing, and then save this as a Photoshop file, then save a copy as a JPEG, and turn in both files to Google Classroom.